If I've got the state minimum insurance, you just gave yourself a financial death sentence. They're getting sued personally. They're garnishing wages. We don't offer that at my office. We don't offer the state minimum because you're setting them up for failure. We had $1 million payout a month ago.
What about insurance for watches and someone busts in your house and snatches your watches?
If you don't have those on your policy, you're eating all those.
What about a wedding ring where there's a big fat diamond and then all of a sudden she looks down, the diamond's gone? Couldn't that be covered on the homeowner's insurance?
If you have it endorsed. In this day and age, everybody needs an umbrella policy.
What are 2 things that you learned that, man, if you'd have learned that earlier, you'd be much better off?
The number one thing that I would say, and it's why I'm so against, buying insurance online.
What it is, Brad Lee, back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs. Today in the studio, folks, I got a real treat for you. My man, Doug Blevins in the house. What's up, Doug?
Just glad to be here. Honored and excited.
Honored and excited. Folks, if you guys don't know Doug Blevins, you can find him on social media at Doug Blevins is most cases. You can also find him like a couple other at Doug Blevins _insurance.
Yeah, Doug Blevins Agency, Doug Blevins Insurance. They're all similar on all the platforms.
Just Doug Blevins, folks. You can't miss him. So Doug is a basic, I wouldn't say basic, I'd say basically you're a financial advisor / because you do home and auto.
We do. Yeah, we do it all. We're a one-stop shop. We kind of hang our hat on white glove service with a concierge type feel to it.
But you do everything.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, it's an insurance agency, but we do financial products that have a guarantee. So we don't do anything with investment, meaning that there's no risk. They all have a floor and a guarantee built in.
But like annuities. And
there you go. We love the fixed index annuity. That's kind of our flagship.
So how long have you been doing that?
Well, I've been in insurance nearly 25 years now. Really got into understanding how all those products work, I would say probably about a decade ago. And we really started working with Lincoln Financial about 6 to 7 years ago. And the fixed index annuity was still had the safeness of an annuity that our parents and grandparents knew about, but it had a lot more of a sexy feel to it. It had the big shiny lights instead of just the fixed rate to make it safe. Instead of putting people's money in the market and that money in the market being at risk, Lincoln Financial will take that risk, but they do not put your money in the market, but they use the market to grow your money or contract you a guarantee to preserve your money and protect it when the market is down.
So do you have all your friends and family into that deal?
A good bit of them, including myself, yeah.
So how did you get into this whole thing?
Well, when I was in high school, my family's insurance agent, which was a State Farm agent back in the day, he was helping with athletics and helping with our baseball team, and he started recruiting me to come to work for his insurance agency. And so that's kind of how it all started. And
how old were you?
I was 18 when this was going on, 17 and 18, and then decided that computer networking was the way of the world, and went to college to do computer networking. Wasn't passionate about it in the least. Had a very, very lazy work ethic in college, doing something that I was not excited about accomplishing, had no desire or drive for. And after finishing that degree, had been working part-time at a local bank back home, and decided, well, I'm going to give this insurance thing a try. This is a good time to give this a shot, and develop my passion, develop my drive. Did not end up taking that track, obviously, but that's what got my foot in the door, got my feet wet, and it was all over but the crying from there, so to speak.
But why'd you stick with it?
What really drove my passion was that I learned at a very young age. I did not know everything and still don't know everything now, but I learned back then that there's just a better way to do things, not just on the agent and the agency level, but for your policyholders. And as I worked at a couple of different agencies and was an agent at these agencies, you would hear a lot of the answers of, well, why do we do that? Well, that's just the way we've always done it. And even as a young man, very green in the business and not knowing much about it at all, just enough to be dangerous. Obviously, I just didn't like that answer. It didn't settle well with me. Well, that's the way we've always done it. Well, you've got to adapt and overcome and evolve, or in business, you die. So I always just had a gut instinct of many different situations of a better way to do that, or why are we not doing this for the policyholder? It would behoove them and be more beneficial for them, much more advantageous if we did it this way, not this way, or why do we not offer this? And why are we telling them, no, we can't do that? They're going to need to go somewhere else and get it. And all that does is open up the door for them to take the stuff they have with you somewhere else. So I wanted to be able to offer more, do more, and just create an environment for the type of policyholders that you wanted to house at your agency, to where, they weren't just a client, but more of a fan.
Now, most people that come on the show obviously are hoping their business gets attention. You don't really care if your business gets attention. You're like, I just want to come bring some value to the listeners. And because you say you're a listener,
that's correct. Listener. Absolutely.
And so you want to just bring value.
Yes, sir.
So in my mind, sometimes the value is the opportunity, meaning why don't you want a bunch of people to come join you in selling insurance and financial products? Because as you know, I have Real Financial.
Yes, sir.
And I help people all day long get into the business because people don't realize how lucrative it is.
Yes, sir.
You discovered it at 18. If I discovered it at 18, I think I'd have a different life right now, because I would have been, a different person. I would have excelled a long time ago in that business.
Sure.
And I don't know if I'd be legendary in the industry. I bet I would be. I didn't realize it was such a big opportunity. Why don't you recruit nationally? Why are you only local?
To give you a completely honest answer, I've not even gone there yet mentally. Kind of my headspace right now is just we have a desire to dominate locally and to dominate our community.
But why just there? Where is your community?
So I'm definitely not saying that I'm right. Our community is basically Walton County, Georgia, and I would say surrounding communities.
Aren't you already dominating?
Well, I'm one of those, never satisfied. We've been very blessed. We built a great brand. We have got amazing clientele. We've got relationships all over town. Again, just very blessed to where, not being from that community originally, but now there's just really nobody that we can't pick up the phone and call if we need something or need a resource or whatever. So it's just an amazing setup in a really special place. We really do live in a very special community. But we've done very, very well, but I'm not satisfied with where we're at. And kind of in my mind, we're not finished until every single policyholder that we want at our agency, we've got there, and their loyalty and their trust is with us, and we're handling their policies for them.
Yeah, but
I'm not giving you what you want, am I?
Well, because the reason I ask is you could be doing the same thing for people all
Sure.
over.
Sure.
But you're worried about one little community.
Yeah, I've learned over the years to perfect one thing before you're just kind of mediocre at many things, and I'm nowhere near satisfied with where we're at right now, and have not even used the bandwidth up yet to think about what it would take for the next moves of like what you're asking. Now, just on a scalability conversation, you're dead on. You're 100% accurate. I just personally, if I'm being truthful, have not even taken the energy or the focus to think out those next step yet.
Because you're comfortable?
No, sir. No, not at all. No, I got used to being uncomfortable years ago. That's what it takes to be able to succeed. But I am one of those that likes to be 10 footsteps ahead. Our policyholders deserve that. My team, that believes in me and what we're building at the agency, they deserve that. And there's a lot of changes and a lot of shakeup in the industry that are coming. So I know that we've still got work to do just where we're at right now. For instance, you've got, AI is going to make a big shakeup in the insurance industry.
Yeah, but what's that got to do with Walton County, Georgia, and Clark County, Nevada?
Sure. Well, the biggest thing, the glaring thing to me is going to be that we're not far away from where anybody that's purchasing something off Amazon, that when they get in the insurance game, when they get ready to pay for their shopping cart, then that last question is going to be, do you want to add your auto insurance to this? Do you want to add your, So to me, having that in place and what we're doing to safeguard against that and to be able to outperform that, that's just kind of where all of my energy and focus is going right now. And again, not to say that I'm right. I could easily be missing the boat on this, but that's just where every bit of my time and bandwidth is going, instead of thinking about what it would take to do that in Tennessee and then Nevada and then further out. Just hadn't made it there yet.
Well, I want to try and help you get there. Because number one, dude, you obviously care about what you're doing. You have a quality operation. it sounds like you have ethics and integrity surrounding it.
Yes, sir.
And there's people out there that don't even know that industry exists, and you could employ them. You could give them an opportunity to sell your policies. Now, they don't live in Walton County, Georgia, maybe.
Correct.
And you're like, yeah, no, can't help them. It's like, why so limited to Walton County? Like, why is it so special that you can't help someone somewhere else?
No, you're right.
I think you can. And it's like you're thinking, man, I'm still trying to get my hands on that. Like, I got a lot of room left here. I know, but that's you doing it. You know that you can grab somebody and let them build what you're building in Walton County in their county.
Oh, you're 100% correct.
And then they get the opportunity, and and again, you can teach them and coach them and mentor them because you've already done it. So it's like, now you coach them how to do it where they're at. And now you've got two, and you override. You don't make as much, obviously, because the person that's doing the work there is going to make the majority, but they still ride through your contract. So now you're making a little slice because you're nice, right? Now all of a sudden you got 4 of them, you got 10 of them, you got 20 of them. You're still in Walton County, Georgia. Ain't nobody getting you out of there. You don't have to go to all these towns and set up what you set up. You just have to help someone else do it.
Well, the biggest thing that we found with that, and you're dead on, but the biggest thing that we found with that, we opened the agency. It's been a little over 8 years now ago. And that was after, a decade or so doing it as an agent at other agencies and other carriers. But the biggest thing that we face is for our team, there's 8 of us. For our team, it's finding somebody that fits our culture, fits our standard, and is even able to stick it out and do things the way that we do them on a local level. And unfortunately, we have gone through a lot of people over the years that tell you one thing in an interview, and then the true colors come out at that 30, 60, 90-day mark. They aren't as passionate about doing things the way that you do them. They maybe don't uphold things. So we're still dealing with that, like you're describing, finding people to do it elsewhere. We're still dealing with that as we continue to grow our clientele and our book of business, the right people to bring on to HQ, to home base. So again, you're spot on. Is it doable? Absolutely. Now, there's a lot of red tape with it in insurance and financial services. I know you're aware. And our contract, with Alpha Insurance, they only operate in the Southeast. And we love Alpha. We love their products. We love that contract with them. And they don't operate, outside of the southern states. So that'd be another.
I would love to know why.
Well, that's definitely not a department that I'm in. That's their comfort zone, and they've kind of got it mastered. So they stay away from the coast, because they're very comfortable with being able to mitigate claims and losses and rates away from the coast.
You're talking about the carrier now.
Yeah, Alpha's the carrier.
Well, that's a different story.
Yeah,
you're not the carrier. You're not the one.
Correct. That's just who our contract is through.
Yeah, you're finding people that want protected.
Absolutely.
They want to invest their money more wisely than sometimes they can do on their own. So they find you. And dude, different story.
You're not wrong.
If I were you, I would just want 1 million more people.
I absolutely do. Just the OCD side of me is having it all worked out up here before putting it into action. Maybe something off the air we dive into.
Well, it looks like you work out, you're in shape.
Yes, sir.
So like you got most of your habits dialed in, looks like.
Yes, sir.
What's a normal day for Doug Blevins?
A normal day? Well, my wife can't stand this because I'm very, very routine and she likes variety, but I eat the same things every day. I do the same things at the same times every day. So if it's a normal day where there's training, there's weightlifting, working out involved, I start the day with just carbs and protein. That's how I start my breakfast. And then throughout the day at the office before it gets back into a workout window is when I'll do my healthy fats and proteins. Then as I get pre-workout, then I'll incorporate the carbs and protein back in. Then I get the fun carbs when I get finished. You get the fast carbs and the sugar when I leave the gym, more carbs when I get home, and then before bed, more fats and protein. So,
you got it down to a science.
I do. Well, honestly, you can. And to me, it's kind of like the folks that wear the same wardrobe every day because they don't have to use energy and, think about what they're going to wear. But I kind of incorporate that with how I'm going to eat. I eat the same things every day. When I get up, I eat the same thing. I pack the same things for the office every day, and I don't have to think about it or worry about it. I know you're not big on weighing your food, but I do take it to that level, and
You weigh your food?
I do weigh the food. Yeah.
Were you in the military?
No, I was not. I did not have the honor, and my dad did not talk about it. But as he passed, I had a lot of people after his funeral, and even since then, reach out to me, and I've heard about what he accomplished in the military and in Vietnam, saved a lot of folks' lives, and I did learn as I got older that he was intercepting all the recruiting phone calls that came to the house for me when I was in high school, because come to find out, he went through a lot of the bad stuff you hear about in the documentaries and stuff in Vietnam. And so he didn't want his little boy to have any part of that. And so I did not. But I will tell you that as I've gotten older, I have these conversations with good buddies and my wife a lot. I do feel like it was a missed opportunity, because now that I'm all about discipline, loyalty, what our country's gone through, people that don't appreciate our country.
What do you think about those people?
It's very difficult for me. It's
what I don't understand is, like, if you hate the country, why are you here?
I can't process it. I can't make it make sense.
I wish someone could.
I know. And
because I'm a common sense guy.
Same.
It's like, okay, you hate it. I understand. You're burning flags and you're saying everybody's fascist and racist and scumbaggery.
Right.
Why are you here?
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you just leave?
And then perform the evil acts behind those words to.
Well, forget the evil acts for a moment. Just, why are you here?
Sure.
Like, dude, if I hated this building, why am I here?
It wouldn't make any sense to be
here.
I'm
not forced to be here.
I agree.
Why would I show up every single day if I hate this place? Why would I come hang around you every day if I hate your guts? I'm not forced to be around you. I'm not forced to be here.
Correct.
Why don't I just pack up and move to someplace a little bit more, pleasing?
That's very logical to me. But I mean, the more that this stuff goes on, it just seems like there's not logic involved with these statements or reasoning, or I don't understand the logic in that.
Yeah. I wish listeners, maybe you guys can make some sense of it. I just think most of my listeners are also common sense people.
I feel that way.
Well, I mean, they seem to be. Well,
you're level-headed and you speak truth. So yeah, I feel like somebody that tunes into this. I know for me personally, if you weren't saying things if you were saying things that I just completely disagreed with or was against my beliefs or whatever, I wouldn't tune in, right?
To me, it's like, dude, I don't believe anything crazy or ridiculous. I just don't get how everyone else doesn't see the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to conspiracies, I get it.
Sure.
Flat earthers. Dude, if you listen to some flat earthers, dude, they got some good damn points.
I know.
They got some good questions.
I know.
I don't know. I've never been up there. I don't know.
Right.
But I could tell you this. If you think about, like, some of the conspiracies, maybe a little too crazy. But then again, like, I'm not this conspiracy guy. What I am is a common sense guy. And common sense tells me, if you don't like it, leave.
It's that simple.
Yeah. If you don't like it, leave.
I agree.
So if I didn't like the United States, I would just leave.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Mexico. Oh, I love Mexico. Great. Let me head to Mexico.
There you go.
Now I'm in Mexico going, I hate the United States.
That's right. Yeah.
I hate that
You
place.
realize what you had.
Yeah, I hate that place. They're dumb up there. And I'd never go back and I never think about them. Just like a ex. I don't sit there and dwell over some ex girl and show up at her house every day and tell her how terrible she is. You move on.
Yeah.
You let it go. But dude, you seem like you were in the military. You seem disciplined. You seem like you have routines.
Yes, sir.
But you also seem like it's the only way. Like, in other words, your way or no way.
Yeah, guilty. Yeah. Yeah.
Why do you think that is your mechanism for
survival?
better.
I've gotten better. I can credit a lot of that to my wife and to my team as well. I can tell you that going from just being a top producer at an agency that only had the mindset of the marketing and the sales side. We called it the gunslinger at our agency. Going from that background to now having, all the incredible ladies we've got that we call our client experience side of the office. And you've got a marketing guy or an agent that comes to me with one thing. And then if I've got a lady that comes to me that's on the service side of things, you got to look at both sides of it now. You got to sit on both sides of the table. And that's helped me a lot. It's really helped me to grow a lot and to understand things other than just how Doug Blevins once saw them and thought they worked. And so I've really done, you're just spot on though. Once again, that is me. And it's something that I'm trying to get better and better at. But if that's what you're seeing now, oh man, 10 years ago, you would have saw it way, way clearer. That was exactly how it was.
But do you think it worked? I mean, obviously it's given you some success
in some aspects, but I will tell you that I had to learn things the hard way up until that point. A lot more hard-headed. Didn't want to listen to somebody. I had to have it. Just had to either get body slammed by it or proven wrong or learn the hard way. Now I can listen, much like your comment about the flat earthers. Now I can listen, and instead of just, jumping off the gun or jumping the gun and going, from here to here, I can listen to reason and think things through better than I used to. Just immediately hear one thing that was different than me and go, oh, nope. So I will accredit it to, being hard-headed and driven like that. It does have some upside to it. You've definitely can, I like the direction that I've gone in, and it was very much needed, but I do think there is something to say for being very firm and in your beliefs and convicted and hard charging when it calls for it. But there definitely is a balance there.
What mistake? Because you've won the $1 million round tables,
yes,
and you got all kinds of awards. So
yes,
it's
sir.
like, do you think because you're like the big dog in a little pond that you're worried that if you get outside that little pond, you might be the little dog again?
I definitely don't like the sound of that. So guilty as charged. But I will say that's something where I have personally experienced a lot of growth over the past few years, because it's much like back, when we, wrestling. Of course, where I'm from in North Georgia, it was wrestling. But, if you keep practicing or going up against people that you can whip, you've hit your ceiling.
That's right.
You've got to move out and let people start to wear you out a little bit. And that's where growth takes place, that uncomfortable, like we were talking about earlier. So, I don't like the idea of not being, of going backwards, but I will say that a lot of the reason why, when I met you at your mastermind and those things, I know that there's the need for that kind of stuff. And I like to surround myself now with people where I'm the dumbest, most unintelligent, or lowest performing individual in the room, and try and keep my mouth shut a lot more than I used to, because I do know that will help me not be exactly what we're talking about right now. So, no, I don't like the sound of that at all, but I do know now that that's what's needed for growth and to move forward.
Yeah. If I'm in your shoes, I'm like, okay, listen, I'm already the king here in Walton County. Now I need to get outside of Walton County. Now, you also said something that I also am afflicted by. I can't find the right people. Well, it's important to me that I have the right people, because you got to have the right culture.
Yes,
so
sir.
Again, you're definitely, in and out of this predicament that a lot of business owners find themselves in. But I also think you're not looking. You're focused on this limited space because you've dominated it. It's comfortable. You can control it. There's nothing scary about it. You can always get better. And that's what you're resting on.
Well, you're a scary judge of character. We need you to start doing some interviews for us if you're available. That'd be
interview for what?
For our agency. You can start helping us weed people out.
Well, dude, I mean, if I were you, I would get an interactive training system.
Well, yeah, we spoke about that.
I would fill it up with the training that you want these people to go through.
Absolutely.
I would create an interactive, basically filtering tool, and then I would just throw 1 million people at it. Why?
Yeah.
Because, dude, you can't control people.
You're right.
You can only freaking ask some questions and filter out the ones that are too stupid or too honest.
Yeah.
And tell you exactly that you don't want them.
Well, that's on our to-do list. We definitely love the platform. We just we need to get out here with you and do this, and then we're going to look to do that next.
Yeah, and because I mean, dude, you make money when people buy policies.
Correct.
You make money when people protect their wealth.
Correct.
And you're helping people, which is how you get really wealthy. Is you help a lot of people.
That's it.
So in my mind, I'm like, dude, you are all set up to go national. to where Doug Blevins is a brand that's selling 100 times more policies. You don't have 8 people. You've got 8,000 people at the Doug Blevins Institute of whatever. Because at the end of the day, dude, like I just think big all the time.
Sure.
How do I get 100,000 people on my team? Because if I get paid a little bit from one, well, then I need 1 million of them. You seem to be satisfied with where you are.
Well, if I'm coming across that way, we're definitely not.
Well, I'm trying to psychoanalyze you.
I understand.
Because you're careful, which is good.
Yes, sir.
You're methodical, you're disciplined. But anytime I think, or ask, why not go bigger? Your answers are, well, I still got a lot to do here.
Well, we came out here to sit down with Brad Lee. That was pretty big for us too.
What more do you have to do in Walton County? Sounds like you're already the king. Everyone trusts you. Everyone knows you.
I think that's a stretch. We're definitely aspiring to that. We're striving for it, but
who's bigger than you?
I mean, I'm certain that there's some state farms and stuff that have been around for decades and decades that have still got us edged out at this point. And we have every intention of,
You mean for auto insurance and everything?
Yeah, for everything. Your P&C is basically going to be your bread and butter for all these insurance agencies, and not many of them do the financial services. And the scary part is they do them, but don't understand how they work.
Well, the financial services is where the money is.
Well, not in our setup. To be completely honest with you, there is nothing residual in the financial services with us. We love it because, number one, it's another service we can provide our policyholder. And just like we started this conversation, we feel like we can do them better, but also we do it for them in-house. We want to be their resource for everything.
You want to be a relationship.
Man, I'm so glad you said that. I want to touch on that so much today.
Well,
we
who knows?
believe
I might
in
have some
relationships.
people in Walton County that are going to be like, damn, I like this Doug guy. So folks, if you're in Walton County, he'll help you. If you're outside of Walton County, you better call someone else because he ain't helping. So where is there a town or is it called Walton County?
So Walton County is our county. That's just the,
What's
that's
the town.
The town. So we, my family and I, we live in Monroe, and that's kind of the county seat. And then Loganville, which is the biggest town or city in Walton County, that's where our office is at. And then you've got some very small towns around the county between Jersey, Good Hope, which are just a lot more rural.
You make it sound like a nice place to grow up.
It's fantastic. I tell people all the time, it is a special, special place. We've been so blessed with just relationships with the school system and the superintendent's office, and really got to see behind the scenes of all the things our police department, local government.
All the cops.
I wouldn't say that I know all the cops, but I will tell you that I do know our past sheriff. I know our previous sheriff. They're both incredible gentlemen. They run a tight ship, and we're grateful for how they handle things, including our school system and all this craziness that started, in 2020. And
is it a Bible Belt?
I wouldn't say that it's a Bible Belt, but it is very much. Our town feels like a small town for a pretty large place, but it has a very small town USA feel to it. But it's a special place. And when my wife and I moved down here and then opened the agency, had our child, we've said for years and years and years, we love, where I grew up and obviously where she grew up, but we wish we would have got here sooner. It's just a special place, man. And all around us, the radius all around it, they went through all that craziness with the mask in schools and just all the stuff, and it just continued to prove to us, the backbone of our community and our county. And they feel what we did was right. And we respect that. And our school system ranks ridiculously high in the state standings every year. And they do things the right way. And that's a driving force behind why the county is so great. And as I got to see behind the scenes with our school system, our superintendent and assistant superintendents and all these great people that are at the superintendent's office on the Board of Education, you can really see why this is such a special place because of what they instill in the kids in the school and how they handle the parents. And you're dead on once again. It's just a really special place. And
damn, you're making me want to move there.
Hey, I know a great insurance agent that can set you up.
Sounds like a Mayberry or something.
Yeah, very close.
So how long have you been there?
We moved there. It's been about 10 years ago now.
So are you ever going to run for mayor?
No, that's funny you said that. I used to think people were joking when they would say that. They would call and I stay busy. I stay very busy, and so a lot of times, which I've got a great team, but just not always available because of all the things that I'm involved in and different boards and things of that nature in town. And so there's always, I'm getting emails or messages from, ladies at the office about, Mr. and Mrs. such and such that called the office. They asked if you're running for mayor yet, so it makes me feel good to have that reputation, but no, it's definitely not on my radar.
How come?
Well, I mean, never say never. But I just, I really want to get this. I really want to get this to where I feel like we should be, before opening up any more of my time to do something like that. But I will say I've got some very good friends and policyholders that are in local government, and even as far as the state capitol, and, they're trying to do what's right. And it's in a world like we've discussed right now where it's difficult sometimes to do that. And it's really got me a lot more passionate about it. And so we've actually got, a couple groups that we've formed in the community, which is kind of just, to give the support that's needed to police department or the mayor of whichever town, or, maybe a board of education member, just to let them know that, like, hey, we're here for you. Do what you got to do. So I'm definitely getting more passionate about that than ever before.
How old are you now?
I'm 43.
Do you think getting older is making you more political?
Yes, sir, I do. Having a little boy is making me get a lot more political.
Yeah.
Because
I never really paid attention to politics younger.
I did not either.
And I used to be like, well, so-and-so's president. Who cares?
I was the same way.
Now it's like, wait a minute.
It didn't affect me. I didn't think. It didn't matter. I didn't care. Yeah, now all of a sudden it'll make you lose sleep at night.
Do you think it's just a mental issue? Because, like, it doesn't really matter. You can't control anything.
No, you can't. No, it's a great point. It could be, depending on how far you want to take it. It could just be a mental thing.
I remember when they said, if Obama gets elected, this country's going to crash.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't crash.
That's right.
If Joe Biden gets elected, we're done for.
Mm-hmm.
We're not done for.
Right.
And then on the opposite side, if Trump gets back in, we'll go to war. We didn't go to war.
Nope.
Like, it's been going on for years, and it never seems to matter one way or the other, left or right. Doesn't matter who wins. It just kind of keeps rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Keeps rolling. So sometimes I try to just, like, not get too obsessed with politics.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think local government is where people should get involved.
I agree.
Local government, where you live, what you can change. Go see who is the superintendent of your schools, who is the sheriff and the mayor and the local government.
That's right.
Because that's the shit you can get involved with and actually make a difference.
That's right.
You're not making any federal differences. So you were talking earlier about peptides and TRT and all that. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So I'm just, years ago, just when I decided to step out and put my money where my mouth is and open my own agency so I could instill all those things about doing things what I felt was a better way, I became all about, I hated to read. I kind of talked about my work ethic in college earlier. When you're not passionate about something, when I decided this is what I want to do, it couldn't just be lip service, So one of the big things was, I need to get my nose in books. I need to learn everything that there is to learn. I need to get around smarter people. I've hired some coaches, been very blessed to just cross paths and then create deep friendships with people that are, just the who's who of this insurance industry, in our country. And I wanted to become, not to, just as metaphorically speaking, I wanted to become the sheriff or the mayor of my town, insurance wise. And so I knew that there was a lot of work had to be put into that. And so really pushing myself to read every night and all the things to learn, everything that I could, be as knowledgeable as I could. And that turned into, if you're going to optimize your agency and your business, you're really not fully optimizing if you're not optimizing the person and the people that are running it and performing at it.
That's right.
That was awesome. Waited a long time for that.
Well, but I forgot a few, and that's an obvious bomb. People need to pay attention. Like, So many people want to improve their business, but they don't improve themselves. And you are the business. You
Correct.
are the foundation of the business. You and your team and your people and your systems and your processes, it's all part of the business.
That's correct.
And everyone wants to improve all this, but they don't want to improve this.
That's correct.
And that's the fastest way to improve the rest.
100%. So I felt very strongly about, and you just said systems and processes, man, we're cut from the same cloth. You're saying all the things that are conversations in our office every day and at our devotion and team meeting every Monday morning. We are all about systems, processes, protocols. And so I felt very deeply that me as a person and how I perform personally also carries into business. And so when my son was, before my son was born, actually my wife and I had got married, and I'm having all these weird symptoms and not like myself, and finally go to the doctor about it. And my wife's like, you're not you. She's like, you figure, whatever it is, we got to figure it out. And actually at our wedding, I was kind of complaining and griping about it. And some couple of my groomsmen, lifelong buddies, they're kind of laughing and nudging each other. And they're like, you got low T. And I'm like, there's no way. Because of the regimen, the working out, the diet, all the stuff. But sure enough, when he got tested, low T. Well, we very much wanted, to have a child. And so the doctor had asked about, family planning. I said, 100%. He's like, well, then we can't, we can't mess with that stuff right now. And so we kind of knew what the next step in the plan was. And so once my son was born, a week later, started seeing a specialist and started the TRT and had my body making and producing what it was supposed to be naturally. And it was a game changer. I was myself again. And then really developed a good relationship with the doctor that I work with through that. And so started doing a lot of research, bouncing stuff off of her. And then the doorway opened up to Peptides. And man,
what's the best ones you're on?
I don't know that I could pick a best one. You've heard of NAD, I'm sure.
Yeah.
NAD is an incredible peptide.
What was it doing for you?
Oh man, just what it does cognitively.
You inject it?
Absolutely, I do. Yeah. So
how many milligrams?
I do 50 units 3 times a week.
That's it?
Yes, sir. So I do what she calls it. Well, I do what she calls a maintenance level. So it is basically just to spark the things that need to spark in my brain to where it keeps it where it's firing, I guess, for lack of better words, how it's supposed to. And then you could obviously up that or front load it or whatever. But the approach that we took was getting on it and then just doing a maintenance level and seeing how that goes. And the results have been fantastic. It's one of those things where you can't tell it, but if you were to stop doing it, that's where you go, oh gosh, and again, it may just be make you a fraction of a percent better, but all that stuff compounds. And when you're performing optimally, you do more as a man, as a husband, as a business owner, and I went off the deep end with that stuff. And so the NAD I'm big on. The very first one that I ever did was the BPC 157, which, just kind of relieves all the aching and tendons and all that stuff. It just makes you feel good, fluid again, like everything the knee aches, all that stuff. It's amazing how and all this stuff, it can't be, the FDA can't do it because it's not a drug that they prescribe. It is literally, you may or may not be familiar. You're very knowledgeable. I'm sure you're well versed in this too. It's amino acids from the body, but it's just maybe what you're lacking as you get older, or, everything that's in our clothes and chemicals and toxins and Wi-Fi signals, all that stuff compounds against you. And it starts draining you down, and our bodies wasn't operating like our dads and granddads was, back in the golden days. So I wanted to do something about it. And I didn't feel that you could optimize a business and be all you can be for your business, for your clients, for the people that believe in you for their career and their future, or my family, if I wasn't optimizing me. So I think the first step was diet, nutrition, putting the right things in your body. But then when we started having the conversations and looking at the science on peptides, it was eye-opening, and I'm all in.
How many do you do?
So I do. Yeah, sorry, you asked me that. So in addition to the BPC, I also do CJC 1295 and ipamorelin, which is more of a vitality. It makes sure it turns your growth hormone receptors back on because they get shut off. All this stuff in the world today is messing with our hormones and all that stuff. It's nothing you can tell overnight, but years and decades go by and you're just, it's draining you. And so there's a lot of stuff now, much to the conversation we're having about peptides, we went off the deep end with the foods we eat as well. So, used to, it was the grilled chicken and the broccoli and all that stuff. But then you start doing the research on that and you look at where the chicken's coming from and it's like, well, this is pumped with the same crap as, whatever. So we've got a farm down the road, 2 miles down the road from us now. We get our steaks, we get our meat, we get our chickens, we get our eggs.
From a farm?
Organically. Yes, sir.
Wouldn't that be nice?
It makes a difference.
Of course it does.
It makes a difference.
What color is the egg yolk?
Very bright orange.
See, like when I see those bright orange eggs versus the ones you buy at the store, I'm like, why are those like yellow and those are orange?
That's right. And that's the color of the meat too.
Well, dude, the earth, the soil has been deteriorating.
Yes, sir.
It's hollow, I call it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you never know. Unless you can get a farm, because like you go to the store, it says organic.
That's right.
And it's not organic.
That's right.
Nothing's in it, then there's something in it.
That's right.
So if you're an entrepreneur just getting started, again, what lessons do you want to pass on to some young whippersnapper that's like, they're not quite where you are. They're just getting started, but they're getting tired.
Yep.
What would you tell them?
Get ready to fail. I think that one of the best lines that I've seen, and I just said, man, that's it right there. It's last man standing. Entrepreneurs, last man standing. Like you're going to get whipped. You're going to get beat up. I
don't think I've ever been beat up.
Well, you're an anomaly.
It's just, I think it's a mindset.
Sure.
I mean, because if someone says, Brad, what about this, you got your ass handed to you a million times. I'd be like, yeah, but look at it this way. So I think it's just simply my perspective. So what I try to tell people is when people hear me say it's easy and it's not rocket science, everyone thinks I'm trying to be, like I'm cool. No, it's my perspective.
Yeah. And I agree with that.
But your perspective is, get ready to get your ass whipped.
Yeah, but
you didn't get your ass whipped.
How did you get your ass whipped? You got to learn. You got to use it as a learning experience. Is like you said, perspective.
Yeah, but what was a time where you got your ass whipped?
I mean, when you have, when you're starting out very lean and you've just got, one or two people in your agency and you've got one not doing things the right way, and it's like, man, if like they're not upholding the standard here, but if I let them go, who's going to answer the phone,
But that's getting your ass whipped?
Well, I mean, it's rough. That's when you go back to those, 12-hour days and, hey, I'm not going to be home till 8 or 10 o'clock tonight, So there's just
You don't have a mobile phone?
Well, sure. But
why can't you just transfer the call to your mobile?
Well, you could, but,
Especially in Walton County, Georgia, where everybody's friends.
Well, I will tell you this.
I almost want to move there just because everybody's friends.
I think you need to check it out. I do.
Well, I'll bump you. I'll move in and be like, dude, Blevins, shit.
But
we got the Bradley agency now.
That's quarterback competition. I love that. That's just going to make me better. We'll sharpen each other.
I'd figure out how to merge with you.
I like that.
It would be the Blevins Lee agency.
I think we're on to something.
Or the LeBlevins.
Has a nice ring to it.
Yeah. To me, I like to collaborate as opposed to compete.
Yes, sir.
That's just my thing.
Yes, sir. Well, if somebody knows what they're doing and they have a strength and you can bring a strength to the table, I mean, and that's kind of how we build our team. And I think that was a big growth opportunity as well is, when you've always been the guy and now you're about to have to start handing, trust and responsibility over to other people. That was hard to do.
That is hard to do.
And so the very first guy that I knew like was my guy, Travis. He's our senior associate agent. It was I had never reached a point before where it's like, here you go. Here's my business, and then we had to find another, and then we had to find another. And in between that, finding that next one, there's all the ones that come in, cause problems, toxic, don't do so, leave without doing something, leave a policyholder without the promises, all the things. So that was very difficult to turn that over to them. But much to your point, that collaboration is kind of how we've grown our agency with what I consider the right people on our team.
What's the population of Walton?
So you've got about 15,000 in Loganville, and
so that's the thing.
Yeah,
it's a small,
the city of Loganville,
town.
Yep, it is.
See, you almost got me jealous. I want to live in a town like that.
It has its perks.
Well, I mean, you think it's, man, that'd be nice. But then when you're there, you're like, damn, this place is boring as hell.
Well, but see, down then you just plan a week out in Vegas and come scratch the itch.
Well, is Atlanta near, or?
It is, but we stay away as much as we can. I mean, obviously when we fly somewhere there, there's no avoiding that, but we don't frequent Atlanta. It's not our cup of tea at all.
You guys are just a small, community-based town. Mm-hmm. And now it all makes sense. You're just a good dude from a small town doing good things.
I'll take it.
And by the way, folks, if anybody's from at or near there, would you help somebody if they called you from this podcast and said, Doug, I like your style, bro, but I don't live in Walton. I live in, Multnomah County, but I sure would like to get my car insurance from you. Would you sell it?
I would not sell it to them, but there's a very good, yes, I would help them and I'd be honored, but there's also a very good chance. We talked about relationships earlier. There's a very good chance wherever they call me from, I've got a relationship that I will personally introduce them to and get them help with somebody that is licensed to do it.
What are the main things, consumers don't know about insurance that you could drop some bombs on?
Oh my goodness.
Like, pay attention to this. Here's how you get dicked. Because when it comes to car insurance, I just call car insurance. Sure. And by the matter of fact, I have State Farm. I do have State Farm.
Okay.
Because my buddy Johnny Carmona had a State Farm agency, number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, I was with American Family, and I liked American Family. American Family Insurance. There's a free plug for you, American Family.
That's just wrong.
But like American Family, I liked them because I forgot why I got them in the first place, but my daughter wrecked her car and boom, they just paid for it.
Well, good.
They didn't dick around.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, that's how it should be. So I stuck with them, but then I started getting nicer cars and they didn't insure them.
Mm. You got out of their comfort zone.
Yeah. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yep.
So the only people that would insure it was coincidentally State Farm.
Yeah.
And my buddy had a State Farm agency. So I said, well, I got to insure the car. Mm-hmm. So if you can insure this kind of car and this kind of car, I'll do it with you. Mm-hmm. So he gave me insurance and said, yeah, no problem. And he said, what about your other cars, mm-hmm. boats, houses, mm-hmm. this, that? And I'm like, I might as well make sense. So I moved them all down.
Exactly. Which back to our conversation earlier, if you don't offer everything for your clients, all you're doing is leaving the door open for.
But he doesn't do financial services. He doesn't do annuities and financial products.
And if you got in that market,
straight auto, home. Sure. What's that called? P&C?
P&C.
Property
yes,
and casualty.
Mm-hmm.
What's the C?
You got it. What's that?
The C's for casualty.
Casualty. Yeah, you got it.
Like death.
No, that's just the name of the license for doing home, auto, and commercial is property and casualty.
Home, auto, and commercial. Yeah. So I interrupted. So what do consumers need to know about home, auto, and commercial that most people don't know?
The number one thing, because everybody has auto insurance, whether you got home or commercial or not, the number one thing that I would say, and it's why I'm so against, buying insurance online, because you don't have anybody to help you. You got the drop down boxes and you're doing it all yourself. And if you're legal, you're legal. You click purchase and you buy the policy and you don't know what you've just purchased. The biggest thing I would say, and it changes state to state, so I'll just use Georgia as our example. But when you're trying to get your auto insurance rate as low as you can, good chance you just gave yourself the state minimum liability insurance. And that is a financial death sentence. So in Georgia, it's $25,000, $50,000 for your liability. So $25,000 per person bodily injury, $50,000 total accident, and then $25,000 for property damage. We just got finished talking about your vehicles, right? If I've got the state minimum insurance, you and I are in an accident, I'm at fault, I've got the state minimum. My company, regardless of who that is going to pay you a maximum $25,000. How does that do for you of any of your vehicles that you're in if you're offered $25,000?
It wouldn't work at all.
Not at all. So what are you going to do? You're going to say, no, $25,000 doesn't come anywhere near putting me back where I was in this vehicle, you're going to sue them. And they have nothing else other than that $25,000 protection from their insurance company. So they're getting sued personally. So that's their finances now. Either they're getting their 401k, their IRA, or if they don't have anything, they're garnishing wages. You're putting yourself at risk for all that stuff, all because you bought a policy with just $25,000 to pay out if something goes wrong. Now, I
thought it's mandatory coverage certain.
It is, but that's the mandatory limit minimum in Georgia. In other states are less than that, yeah.
Well, then it's just a racket then, because like most cars nowadays are more than $25,000. How's it going to pay for a car if you smash your car?
That's exactly what we say to anybody that calls the office. The first thing, when they send us over, hey, this is what I got. Tell me what your price would be. We tell them right off the rip, hey, we would love to do some research for you, but we'll just go ahead and let you know up front. We don't even offer that. We don't offer that in my office. We don't offer state minimum because you're setting them up for failure right off the rip. And if that's what they want, we wish them well and tell them we're not the agency for them because we don't set people up for failure. So it sounds like you and I are in total agreement about that. But you should not have the state minimum. And in this day and age, even if you aren't a millionaire, you should have enough coverage in your autos where you qualify for an umbrella policy. Everybody needs an umbrella policy because anything can happen. We're just talking about property damage.
So I got to call my boy Johnny and say, dude, do I have an umbrella policy?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you probably do.
I don't even know what I got.
But make sure.
I don't even know what
because that's your lawsuit protection. That's, we're talking about if a vehicle has to be repaired or paid for. Now let's talk about if somebody's injured in that accident. When you get those medical bills, we had an accident. We had somebody we had $1 million payout on in little bitty Walton County a month ago.
What about like home insurance for like you got 10 watches and someone busts in your house and snatches your watches and you didn't have them on your policy?
If you don't have those on your policy, you're eating all those. You're replacing
so how do you get all your valuables on your policy?
Yes, sir. So which is a specific question we ask everybody in the quoting process with us. You actually have to endorse those or schedule those onto your home insurance policy. So, for example, if you've got those 10 watches, and let's just say they're all Rolex just for ease, you would need to give an appraisal for each of the 10 Rolexes. And then if anything goes down, and we even cover mysterious disappearance. So if you just say, hey, they're gone, I don't know where they're at, you get paid off of what that watch was worth because you can't just blanket. Anybody could say, well, I had 10 Rolexes. So in order to get compensated for those, they've got to be endorsed on your policy. And that way you get the proper payout and you have the coverage in place for something like that does happen.
But when you put 10 watches on your policy, does the premium go up?
It's really not bad at all. No.
So why doesn't people do it?
To be honest with you, education.
What about a wedding ring where there's a big fat diamond and it falls out at the mall and she doesn't even notice it, and then all of a sudden she looks down, the diamond's gone. Couldn't that be covered on the homeowner's insurance?
If you have it endorsed. We had a lady that's very dear to me. And she was actually just shopping in a store. And when she got out to the car, she said something just felt off, and she reached up and her necklace had fallen off of her neck. Same situation. And had that not been endorsed, it would just been like, hey, I'm really sorry.
Endorsed means appraised. How do you get that
endorsed
done?
means that you're adding that specific item to your home insurance policy, but it's covered for 10, 20, 50,000, whatever it's appraised for. That's what that special coverage is for alongside of your home insurance policy.
And anyone will do it.
Absolutely. The reason people don't have it is because most times, unfortunately, you call somewhere for a quote, and what's going to happen is all they do is pull up your current coverages, or you send them your current coverages, and they're just going to see how much cheaper they can get their price for the same coverages. There's been no discussion about, well, hey, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. So we like to educate clients. We like to ask those questions. If they don't need it, they don't need it. But if they do need it, it's detrimental if you don't have it on there. Same with firearms.
Right now, if you had some sort of online process, I could get 10,000 people to buy insurance from you. But now they're going to be like, well, shit, dude, I'm going to follow Doug, but I can't, he don't want my business. But you do want them to follow you said.
Yeah, we do. We've
Doug Blevins, folks, at Doug Blevins, Blevins. Go hit him up on Instagram. Tell him you heard him on the Bomb Squad. You like his style.
That'd be great.
Or school him. I had one guy that was, eager to hear from the Bomb Squad, and they were just blowing his
They lit him
ass
up.
They lit him up, dude. He goes, dude, your fans are killing me.
I think I might know who you're referring to.
Well, I'm like, dude, listen, hey, listen. They listen to the show for value, and sometimes you think you're giving it, and they don't like what they're hearing.
Yeah.
So you'll hear from them.
Yeah.
But I think people are going to like what you're saying. The only thing they're not going to like is that they can't do business with you necessarily.
Not today, but
well, we got to change that.
you may have flipped a lever.
Get
upstairs.
you bigger.
Yes, sir.
We get you outside of Walton. We got to get you national.
Never say never.
We're like, dude, it don't matter where you from.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Doug Blevins agency wants to help you. Why? Because, dude, people getting screwed all over. Brad Lee made me think of that. I was on his podcast, and he kept kicking me in the old nutsack about, staying in Walton County. And I was driving home, and I thought to myself, damn, he's got a point there.
You do have a point.
I'm being selfish, just helping my little community. Right?
That's a tough way to look at it, but
I'm being selfish. Like, dude, people need more people that care and are passionate like you in their, neighborhoods.
well, I appreciate your kind words. I agree.
But most people are like me, where, hey, let's just get big. But listen, what people don't know about me is I'm like you and like me, meaning, dude, I just want to go big. I don't compromise the value. I don't compromise the quality, and neither would you have to.
No, sir.
You might think you do, but I don't believe limitations. I believe, yes, in complications, for sure. But dude, if you can do it in Walton County right, you can do it worldwide right.
For sure. Adapt and overcome. I mean, you
move along,
yes,
get
sir.
bigger. I just want to be the dominant one to where like I want to be, people say, what are you going to do with this podcast? Well, dude, I got a long ways to go before I'm anywhere near what old Rogan. But dude, I would like one day to have this be the main Rogan competitor. Now, I thought you don't like to compete. Well, shit, I'd like to be his co-host, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I think you're on your way.
So I'm going to keep doing my thing. I'm going to keep getting freaking bigger, badder guests. People are like, I can get you so-and-so. Listen, it's not always about famous. I don't mind bringing on the big name famous people, but I like bringing on people that have real businesses. They've learned real lessons and they can drop real value, because there's people listening, man, that are in the same boat. And you don't have to be this multi-billionaire genius. You just need to be, 3 steps ahead of someone else.
Yes, sir.
And then you can help that person. All you got to be is 3 steps ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So for the people out there in the insurance business with an agency, what would you say to them if they want to just grow a little bit? What are 2 things that you learned that, man, if you'd have learned that earlier, you'd be much better off?
To me, number one is relationships. I think relationships are everything. And I think that if you're doing anything transactional based, I think you're missing the boat. I think you're just going to be churning policies instead of growing policies. A relationship is everything. And do what you say you're going to do. Do what you say you're going to do, and make sure that you've got people in a culture that they as well do what you say you're going to do. For me personally, if I'm speaking at anything or even a one-on-one conversation with somebody that stops me in town or after a meeting or whatever, I tell them, we don't do it like that. We do it like this. We do this, this, and this. If I don't have a team or an agency full of people that perform that and live that out, I'm a liar. So, do what you say you're going to do and have a culture that does what you say you're going to do. So, just right off the hip, the 2 things, to answer your question, I would say build a culture, a good one, in a relationship.
Have you ever found somebody in violation of your culture that was good at hiding?
Unfortunately, yeah. We've had people that were in the agency for a couple of years and had advanced them and kind of, given them a lot of trust, a lot of responsibility. And we just had them. I don't even know what you'd call it. I don't think somebody can hide something for 2 years. Maybe they did, but it's just kind of like they became a different person. And, you try and love on them, trying to love them through it and try and sit down and talk to them. But, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck and it's hurting your business.
Well, that would be Aflac.
Yeah, could be.
Now, when you say alpha, that is a carrier?
It is, yes. Yeah, Alpha Insurance is a...
They're going to be pissed. He's like, you mentioned Aflac, you mentioned Family Fitness or whatever, American Family, makes a State Farm.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't he mention Alpha?
Well, we've talked about them a little bit. We just hadn't really...
Yeah, Alpha Insurance, folks. Why is Alpha your choice, by the way? Let's give them a little plug since we gave the rest of them
absolutely. And I appreciate you doing that. When you and I were kind of talking about how I got into things, I had went to work for one agency for one carrier and went from one agency to a larger agency for about a 10-year period. And when I decided I wanted to do my own thing, I was talking with State Farm, and I was actually supposed to take over for a State Farm agent in Loganville in Walton County. So that's the reason why we moved to Walton County. Of course, my wife did a lot of research on the school system and places to live and that stuff, and so just solidified everything. But when I got there, and no disrespect to your agent or to your choice, but when we got there to town, it got time to sit down and sign the papers. But they had just gone through a lot of leadership changes, and it just for me personally, it ended up kind of at last minute not being what I wanted to hitch my wagon to, and so I politely declined. And it was like, well, we'd already moved there. We were there. And so it was like, okay, what are we going to do now? And it was a God thing. I got a phone call from somebody that's like an older brother to me in the insurance industry. And he said, well, did you sign your papers with State Farm today? And I said, you're not going to believe this. I said, I didn't. He said, good, you're going to get a phone call this afternoon. And it was somebody with Alpha Insurance from the area that I'm in. And they wanted to talk about a neighboring town. And did I want to take over an agency there? And we talked, and long story short, I said, well, I don't want to take over for them, but I want to open up one in Loganville. And they said, well, we've never been in Loganville. I said, well, let's do it. And the next day they called back and said, let's do it. So we actually opened what you call a scratch agency. We opened our office with 0 policies. And again, we probably don't have enough time today, but the amount of chess moves the Lord moved around for this whole thing to come together, no matter how good somebody is, I couldn't have done all this.
Now, do you own the book of business? Because I think with State Farm, that's the problem with State Farm. You don't own it. They do.
Correct. No, I do not. No, Alpha owns that book of business. We have obviously metrics in place for if I stepped away or retired. Honestly, that's not in the cards for me. This is something that I plan on doing until the day I die. I may not be at the office as much, but I'm just very passionate about this, and I made promises to all my team, and I'm not just going to let them get, on up in years and a few years away from retiring and be like, hey guys, you know what? So now I plan on sticking it out and putting some legacy planning in place for the agency. But I do not own that book of business. If I decided to step away, there's something in place of how I'd be compensated for the amount of policies that we've got.
You're going to be with the damn place so long that when, in 40 years, when there's little whippersnappers running around town, they'll be like, you walk around like your old man Blevins, and they'll be talking about you.
Yeah, I'll take it.
The town seems charming the way you described it. I think you should become mayor.
Well, I've moved outside of the city limits, so we'd have to do some rearranging, but
you out on a farm or something?
Grew up on a farm, and that is what we want. We've not found where to do that at yet, but yes, that's definitely something we want to do.
All right, last question. How can the bomb squad help you, brother?
Man, so to wrap that up full circle, I was blessed to come out here and do a mastermind with you back in June. And you said a lot of things that resonated with me that day, but social media was something I really wanted to make fun, valuable, make the content where people enjoyed it, but actually they got something out of it. And you said a lot of things that day that we went back and incorporated. And my wife has done a phenomenal job with people that we've kind of done some boot camps and some stuff with, some producers. And it's incredible what she's doing, but we're trying to make it fun and valuable where it's not just insurance. And people have received it very well. It's going incredibly. Some platforms a lot more than others. But if the bomb squad would check us out, and if they'd get some value out of it, interact with me on there, that'd be an honor. That'd be awesome.
Where do you want them to go?
We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We are on
What's
TikTok.
Your favorite one?
I would have 3 years ago, I would have never thought this would come out of my mouth, but with all the information and real content that we get from it, I'm a believer now. I think probably TikTok is.
Where do they find you on TikTok?
It's Doug Blevins Insurance on TikTok. And in case I'm wrong about that, it's Doug Blevins Agency. But we're really trying to build the Instagram up at this point. Just got officially certified or
verified.
Yeah. So
that one's at Doug Blevins.
Yep.
Well, dude, I'll have you back here one of these days when you're ready to scale outside Walton County, Georgia.
That sounds good.
And maybe I'll come out there and visit, see if I want to get me a house.
I think you should.
I'll run for mayor.
I think you should. I'll connect you with the right people. And if you don't mind, I'd be remiss if I didn't. Our little boy turns 5 today, and we're doing some celebrating in Vegas tonight. So just want to, when he's old enough to hear this one day, just want to make sure and put that out there for him.
Happy birthday. What's his name?
Name's Bo.
Bo. Happy birthday, Bo.
Thank you for that.
You'll hear this when you're about 21 years old. Folks, go follow Doug. If you guys want good insurance guy, you can call him and see if he'll help you. Other than that, man, take his lessons and run with them. The real thing I got from that was like, freaking do the right thing. Do the right thing. Even if you got to sacrifice scale, timing's everything. Do the right thing. And I think you'll scale anyway one day. Till next time, keep it real.